Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed my cover of The Price of Agony by Fit for a King. Just before we get into this lesson video, I want to mention real quick that a couple days ago I launched my merch store. If you enjoy my content, you enjoy my videos, and you benefit from all the different lesson videos that I have to offer here on my channel, it would really mean the world to me if you checked out that merch store and maybe considered grabbing a t-shirt similar to what I'm wearing. As you guys are all well aware, this channel is still very fresh, very new, and our community is still growing. And because of that, every t-shirt sold really does impact the channel in a very positive way. The funds from each and every sale will go towards new gear for our channel so that I can continue to upgrade the production value of our videos and deliver you videos faster in the future. So that being said, let's get you learning The Price of Agony by Fit for a King. The tempo for this song is 188 beats per minute. The time signature is 4/4. There's no tempo and no time signature changes throughout the entire track. I'm gonna be playing each section for you at first 188 beats per minute, the tempo of the song, and then I will be going back through at 145. The first section in the song, of course, is the intro. This intro is a 16-bar section. Most of the section is the same pattern, maintaining eighth notes on your feet while playing accents at certain beats on the toms. At the end of the section to take us out, we've got a little bit of a fill, followed by a brief dropout that's going to take us into the second section of the song. Here is the intro performed for you now. Coming off that section, we're going to go into, I guess, what would be considered the second half of the intro. We do have a very long intro in this song. I guess we'll go with intro for now. The drumming, however, though, along with the instrumental, is the same as in the chorus. It's just there's no vocals over this section. So here's what I'm calling intro 1.2 now. The next section I'm going to demonstrate for you is kind of the first verse. The first half I would consider more of a transition section, and then the second half technically will be where the first verse starts. So to keep it simple, I'll just call this verse 1.1, and here is that section now. So coming out of verse 1.1, we're going to go into verse 1.2. Verse 1.2 is a continuation on the double time pattern that we've been playing since verse 1.1. At the end of each phrase, though, we do have a fill just as we did in verse 1.1. Each fill in verse 1.1 and verse 1.2 to carry you into the next start of each phrase is different from one another. Just memorizing the order of the fills and what the fills are is really the tricky part with these verses. Outside of that, it's pretty straightforward, just single kick and maintaining that snare crash pattern. Here is verse 1.2 performed for you now. After verse 1.2, we're going to go directly into the first chorus. The first chorus of the song we really already kind of know because we played the drum pattern as the second half of the intro. Over the center line of the chorus, however, there is a little bit of a change up. The fill in the intro is no longer there and it's been replaced by a different type of fill. One thing I'll state quickly before we move on here is that I don't think in this entire song there is a single fill that really repeats itself. There's a couple that are variations on one another, but consistently through the song, we are changing the fill and the transition sections every time we come to one. Because of that and the length of this song means that there's definitely a little bit more memorizing to be done with this track. So having said that, we see a new fill at the center line of the first chorus and at the end of the first chorus. Here's chorus 1 performed for you now. So after the first chorus, we are going to go into an 8-bar section that can be considered the post-chorus. The similarity between the post-chorus and the first half of the second verse, however, is very strong. So I did group these two sections together in the performance. Because of that grouping, I'm simply just going to refer to it as verse 2.1. Here's the post-chorus / verse 2.1 now. Coming out of verse 2.1, we are going to continue to evolve the pattern, just as you saw in the transition in that section. The next section we're going to go into is verse 2.2. It's half as long as the section I just performed for you, and that's because this is technically the exact second half if we didn't include the post-chorus. The tricky part with this section and the last section is just maintaining those 16th note runs on your feet while performing the cymbal choke and the cymbal accents. So here is verse 2.2 performed now. The next section we are going to come to will be chorus 2. Just as I said earlier in this video, we don't see any fills that repeat themselves. So in chorus 2, we're going to have a fill over the center line of the chorus, just as we did in the intro and in chorus 1, but this fill is going to be a variation on the fill that we saw in chorus 1. So just pay attention, we're just going to swap up the placement to the rack tom instead of all on the snare. And then taking us out of this section, we've got another new fill. It's very simple though, you will see at the end of the section. It's just some hi-hat snare accents in a pattern followed by a snare roll. Here is chorus 2 performed for you now. After chorus 2, we're going to go and do, I guess, chorus 2.2, we'll call it, maybe B-side, whatever it is. It's essentially an extension on the chorus, but it's not quite the same pattern, not quite the same feel. So I'm just going to roll with the title chorus 2.2. The fill that's going to take us out of this section is a fraction fill, and it's a little bit more complex. If you'd like to see this fill broken down in my next episode of What the Fill, make sure to request it in the comments below. Here is the B-side chorus, or chorus 2.2, now. After chorus 2.2, we are now in the bridge. The bridge is made up of two 16-bar sections. The first 16-bar section is what we're going to cover first, and I'm going to call it the bridge build-up, or bridge 1.1. This section is cut in half. The first half, we're going to have some accents on the cymbals and a little bit of tom work. It's fairly straightforward though. The second half of the section, we are going to reintroduce the tom groove from the intro of this song, where we were maintaining eighth notes on our feet and playing a specific groove with the rack and floor tom. The thing to pay attention to here though is that, just as I said earlier, nothing repeats itself. During this tom groove, there's going to be a little bit of a fill in the center of it. It's fairly straightforward though. Here is the first half of the bridge, bridge 1.1 now. Coming off bridge 1.1, or the build-up in the bridge, we are going to go into what it was building up to, which in this case is a breakdown. Never could have saw that coming in metalcore. The bridge breakdown is pretty straightforward. It's not very fast, despite being a little bit more complex just because of the way the fills transition you over bar lines. The trickiest part when learning this section was just nailing the cymbal chokes during the second phrase. Here is bridge 1.2, or the bridge breakdown now. So after that breakdown, the next section we're going to come to is the third and final chorus. This chorus is very different from choruses 1 and 2. Pay close attention because I don't do the same ghost note pattern that you see me perform in the other sections. There's also a stop in the center of the section, a little bit of a dropout where we have vocals alone, and then it kicks back into the second half of chorus 3, but it's actually the same pattern as the B-side chorus. And then finally, to conclude the section, there is the most difficult fill in the song. It's by far the longest. It is a fraction fill. However, though, again, if you want to see this fill broken down, make sure to request it in the comments below, and maybe we can add that to the next episode of What the Fill. Here is chorus 3, performed for you now. Just 2 more sections to get through and we've made it through the song. The next section is a second B-side chorus. It's chorus 3.2. Chorus 3.2 is very similar to the first B-side chorus, chorus 2.2. However, once again, nothing repeats itself. There are some changes here to note. The biggest change to look out for is just going to be a little bit of a change up in the feet at the center of the section. Then at the end of the section, we've got a similar fill to an earlier part in the song, but not exactly the same. Here is chorus 3.2, or the second B-side, now. So we finally made it. We're coming up to the last section of the song. The last section of the song is very, very straightforward. It is the same thing repeated over itself twice. This song does fade out. However, in my cover, I played the fade out section as a 16-bar section, which meant that I finished off all 16 bars. That will be the version in which I play for you here. Technically, around the 10th to 12th bar, the song is already dead, but I played it until what would be considered the 16th ending. Here is the outro of the song, performed for you now. Okay, awesome. So you made it. Congratulations on learning The Price of Agony by Fit for a King. Just as I said at the beginning of this video, if you find my videos helpful and you would like to contribute to the channel, I would really appreciate if you checked out the merch store. You can find a link in the description below. Tomorrow, I will be releasing the second episode of my hands series. I'm going to be covering my personal warm-up and also giving you guys some tracks to download for yourself that you can warm up to every day at the kit. We're also going to use those warm-ups in my feet series and possibly in What the Fill down the line. So it's going to be important to check check episode 2 out and grab those downloadable files. If you'd like to connect with me further, you can do so at any of my social media pages. You can find direct links to those in the description below, as well as on the screen for you now. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys very soon with something new.